Good morning. Greetings. This is Uncle Vigilante. Please call me Uncle V. And I cover Epic Cash. And the lead tech developer behind Epic Cash is the gentleman with me, Todd Lewis. And he is hailing from Phoenix. I think it's Phoenix, Arizona, somewhere in that damned hot state anyway, for an additional short period of time before he gets back to Brazil. So Todd, welcome to the show. And I'd like to ask you, it's a beautiful backdrop you have there.
I'm trapped in a Roadrunner cartoon, man. I swear.
Unpack that. What do you mean?
I mean, I saw a boulder dropped on a coyote in roller skates yesterday, and it's going to be 115 tomorrow. And I miss Brazil.
Well, now comparatively, what would the weather be like down in Brazil?
Well, it's winter in Brazil, so it's not really
okay.
Apples, right?
I'll
complain about the cold when I'm back down there, but
okay.
When it gets down to 60 in Brazil, I gotta put a sweater on. So
tough duty. Well, today's crypto coffee is going to be a little bit different, and it's going to be more of a catch-up opportunity and an opportunity for us to pivot just a little bit to correct some things that I got wrong. So what I thought we'd do today, Todd, people will notice that Max Freeman is not on the line, and there's a really good, simple reason for it. And I'm going to share my screen. Let me go over here. Bear with me, guys. But I'm going to. What's that?
Bench warrants are my guess.
Bench warrants. Yeah. So I am going to share my screen, and we're just going to listen to this. And the whole reason Max is not here. Todd Lewis, your name is Todd. My name is also Todd. So this will make sense to everyone. All right.
Greatest comedians ever, George Carlin.
And I'm getting really sick of guys named Todd. It's just a goofy fucking name, okay? Hi, what's your name? Todd. I'm Todd. And this is Blake and Blair and Blaine and Brent. Where are all these goofy fucking boys' names coming from? Taylor, Tyler, Jordan, Flynn. These are not real names. You want to hear a real name? Eddie. Eddie is a real name. Whatever happened to Eddie? He was here a minute ago. Joey and Jackie and Johnny and Phil, Bobby and Tommy and Danny and Bill. What happened? Todd and Cody and Dylan and Cameron and Tucker. Hi, Tucker. I'm Todd. Hi, Todd. I'm Tucker. Fuck Tucker. Tucker sucks. And fuck Tucker's friend, Kyle. Yeah. There's another soft name for a boy, Kyle. Soft names make soft people. I'll bet you anything that 10 times out of 10, Nikki, Vinny, and Tony will beat the shit out of Todd, Kyle, and Tucker.
All right, I will stop sharing that. So the fact is I think the reason
it's time for me to introduce my new mug.
Oh, you have a new mug?
Yeah. Can you see it?
Let me see. Oh, yeah, baby, we love Todd.
Yeah, there you go.
It doesn't say we love George.
Yeah, fuck Eddie.
Who's George? Who's Eddie?
Yeah.
Oh, who's Max? Max, I think, would be on the Eddie list. And so that's why Max Freeman's not on here with us today, is because he's Max, not Todd. So now that we got that homework out of the way, I want to share with people.
This is our unforgivable sin in the eyes of the crypto incumbents. Is this shit really doesn't bother us?
Well, you know what? What does bother me is Max and I recently started. We did a test, and we did a live stream to where we teed up this podcaster's his name's Nathan Stoltman, Lift the Veil. We teed up a podcast to where he talks about all of the positive attributes of Bitcoin, and he was just so wrong. And because he is a crypto consultant, we decided to do a PSA, and because he is just so wrong, a lot of people are going to be hurt and damaged by it. And that just gave me an idea of being able to, with Max, I think specifically, to be able to go back and try to find content of other people evangelizing about BTC, and not to knock BTC, but to educate people on the fact that BTC is not Bitcoin. And so I want to let people know there's going to be an upcoming series with Max called Epic Gloves Off with Max Freeman. And the first thing we're going to do is unpack this Forbes article to where Forbes covered Fidelity, which is one of the largest investment banking firms. They have a digital asset division. And so this two people from the digital asset division, Chris, Kuiper, and Jack, Neureuter. George Carlin has to do something with last names. WTF are those? So anyway, these are our director of research and research analysis, and they did a 30-page document covering Bitcoin. And I'm just going to offer one paragraph to you, Todd Lewis, and just first impressions. Bitcoin is fundamentally different from any other digital asset. No other digital asset is likely to improve upon Bitcoin as a monetary good, because Bitcoin is the most, relative to all other digital assets, secure, decentralized, sound digital money, and any improvement will necessarily face trade-offs. Comments?
Improvements will face trade-offs. Man, that's a bold, bold statement from Fidelity right there. Change can be difficult and is often accompanied by expense and requires effort. Thanks, guys. Like, yeah, but the idea, like, unlikely to improve on Bitcoin. Man, I think a lot of these financial analysts, I kind of feel bad for them.
Okay.
Because this is so funny. After literally thousands of years, of experience with these simple financial assets that follow well-established rules, right? All of a sudden, we have financial assets that are engineering goods, that are technical goods.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And in the 1970s, you could dust off 200 years of literature about gold and copy paste it into a report in the middle of the gold boom. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you do that, you end up saying things like 2005 Internet Explorer is unlikely to be improved upon. With their dominant market position and universal support, any new browser would be faced with incredible difficulty going into this mature and entrenched market. And in fairness, people did say this in 2005.
Did they really? Yeah.
Absolutely. In 2005, the browser wars were over. Microsoft won. Their market share is north of 90%, and no one will ever be in a position to dislodge them. Right? But this is what it's like. Trying to defend legacy technology in a fast-moving technical landscape.
Right.
This is the challenge with crypto, and this is the opportunity with crypto. And the wheat from the chaff discussion in the non-legacy coins is which ones are actually moving the ball down the field in terms of advancing the Bitcoin mission, right?
Yeah.
Have an engineering solution to how we monetize the economy.
Is-
And I have some sympathy for Fidelity because it's important to remember what the job of the financial researcher is when they're writing white papers. Because you might think that their job is to find the investments that will deliver outsized returns at minimal risk to the investors. And that is almost precisely the opposite of their mission. Because their job is to get customers in the door and paying fees. That is how they get paid, and that is what defines success in their business. The end. Get the fees flowing. And the way that you get the fees flowing is summarized in an old joke among brokers about what to do with clients and clients who want to go into a new asset class or explore a new idea. When the ducks quack, feed them.
When the ducks quack, feed them or beat them?
Feed them.
Yes.
Right? When the ducks quack, feed them. If a bunch of guys come in and it's the 1970s and there's a gold boom, and they say, I hear that mining stocks are going to the moon. The thing you tell this person is, yes, mining stocks are going to the moon.
Right.
Sign here to open your account.
Right. Right.
Or in the 1960s, I hear the Nifty 50 are really taking over the economy with all these conglomerates. Yes, they are. Sign here to open your account and start paying us fees.
Well, isn't that
back? You feed them, you give them the thing that they want, and you don't try to talk them out of it, because whether they make money or not is their problem. Our problem is grabbing the market share and collecting the fees. And to do that, you tell people what they want to hear.
Yeah.
That is the job of the research analyst. And at the moment, the conventional wisdom is that Bitcoin is the entrenched incumbent, although their market share isn't as high as Internet Explorer was in 2005. But you tell people what they want to hear, and this is mathematically guaranteed to be a terrible way to make money. Absolutely terrible, because there's no, you're buying at the top. You're buying the thing that has widespread acceptance already. How are you going to 10x on something that's already got 80% market share? It's pretty difficult to get to 800% market share.
Yeah, I mean, so just to put that in perspective, I don't know what's trading at today, but let's just say $30,000. So Epic today is trading at $1. So you could get 30,000 Epic, which has a market cap of $15 to $20 million, or you could get 1 Bitcoin, which has a market cap of, I think, $650 million. So for you to 2x your money in Bitcoin, you need to attract another $650 billion, and to 2x your money in Epic, you need to attract another $15 to $20 million.
And that's why this research advice is so stupid, and why people are just being told what they want to hear.
Yeah, right.
That's all of this, all that this is. And the research, say I have 2 research analysts. One of them tells clients what they want to hear and drums up a bunch of new business and creates a bunch of revenue for the company they work for.
Yep.
One has really original, insightful, and because they're original, strange investment ideas of things that are more speculative and less certain, but with vastly higher rates of return.
Yeah.
Which of the 2 of them is going to get promoted inside of that company?
Right. No, it's true. It's true.
It's absolutely true. And so when you see these reports from Fidelity, I mean, I'd wrap a fish in it. to call Bitcoin the most secure blockchain is hilarious. It is the legaciest of the legacy blockchains. And I mean, the coding in the Bitcoin code base is fine. It's reasonably secure in that sense, although not as good as our Rust code base. but the security of the function, of the monetary function, is there is none. There is none.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean, research analyst writes clueless report is really a dog bites man story there, dude.
Well, I printed it all out, and I have gotten through about the first 6 pages, but I did go to the conclusion. So I'll just read everyone the conclusion, and Todd, you can comment on it. Traditional investors typically apply technology investing framework to Bitcoin, leading to the conclusion Bitcoin as a first mover technology will easily be supplanted by a superior one, or
not easily, but will be supplanted.
Will be. Yeah, there you go. So their words will easily be supplanted by a superior one and have lower returns.
Hang on. He's pulling a fast one there.
Okay.
That's a lie. No one says it will be easy. No one.
Yeah.
I've never heard anyone say it will be easy to supplant Bitcoin's market position. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to call that out. That's a lie. He's misrepresenting what the advocates say.
Shocker. Shocker. 2 more sentences. However, we have argued here Bitcoin's first technological breakthrough was not as superior payment technology, but as a superior form of money. As a monetary good, Bitcoin is unique. Therefore, not only do we believe investors should consider Bitcoin first in order to understand digital assets, but that Bitcoin should be considered first and separate from all other digital assets that have come after it. There's my man. Hey, little man. Where's your artwork? I lost your audio, Todd.
Engineer talks into muted microphone. He made a drawing for you. We'll see if we can find it. It's just goofy. It's just goofy, man. Their first mover advantage makes them monetarily unique. Like what? Unique? A clown with 3 legs is unique. That doesn't make it. What does unique give you? Yes, it's the first mover. Yes, it's the incumbent. But what's the argument that it has no deficiencies as a monetary good? That's not true. Bitcoin is legacy tech at this point, and we know how to engineer much better than Bitcoin. Or is the argument that the incumbency is going to protect it against superior competitors? Mm-hmm. Well, we have a long roadmap of that in the history of the technology business. That argument is completely true right up until the day that it stops being true.
Right.
And is it easy to dislodge the competitors? No. Does it happen? All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Well,
and it takes time, and then it happens. And today, Internet Explorer's market share is what, like 3%?
Yeah.
Well, and all of those arguments about the inevitability of Internet Explorer and their market share and all the people who support it. What goods? How's that going now? Right? How are all those incumbent arguments working out for you now that they didn't see mobile coming, that the superior investment in Chrome knocked them off, that Safari turned out to be pretty good and the Mac had a resurgence, that the web moved on in standardization, that Internet Explorer did not improve and did not keep up, and the market share bled away, right?
Can Bitcoin improve? How difficult would it be for Bitcoin to actually improve?
It would be exceedingly difficult.
Yeah.
Right. And you know, this thing that it's difficult to knock off Bitcoin, it's harder for Bitcoin to avoid being knocked off.
I like that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, for us to knock off Bitcoin, it's even harder for them to avoid it.
One of the primary points in the paper is they say in this paper, we propose Bitcoin is best understood as a monetary good. And one of the primary investment thesis for Bitcoin is as a store of value asset in an increasingly digital world. What would you say about that?
As Yogi Berra once said, it's difficult to make predictions, especially about the future. Okay. And I think this is one of the reasons why Max and I disagree so much on gold. Is I feel much more confident that I know the future of gold than that I know the future of Bitcoin. Okay. Because I mean, what's Bitcoin isn't even multi-algorithm.
Right.
I mean, what if there's a cryptography breakthrough in their proof of work algorithm? It would disappear overnight. It would hyperinflate in less than 24 hours. Right? And if this research analyst at Fidelity has mathematical proof that the proof of work algorithm in Bitcoin can't be cracked, then he should apply for his Fields Medal in mathematical research. We'd all love to see the research paper proving this. Does he? Of course he doesn't. Does he even recognize the cryptographic vulnerabilities or the history of cryptographic algorithms going from smash to trash very quickly once there's a mathematical breakthrough? No, he doesn't have the least idea what the hell he's talking about.
So what about Epic? We're multi-algo, and so the reason why we're multi-algo is to defend against just what you said, yes?
Precisely for that. We want Epic to survive for decades, and we've engineered it to be flexible in those ways for that reason, right? But the other thing too is just Mimblewimble. Mimblewimble is the superior way to build the monetary function, right? It just is.
So my question would be, could Bitcoin, BTC, whatever their procedures are, could they ever add Mimblewimble to BTC? I know they never would, but could they?
They theoretically could, but it would be a complete change to Bitcoin. It wouldn't be Bitcoin anymore. It would be a new thing with the old label on top of it, right?
It'd be like Litecoin, where they just added Mimblewimble, and the only thing it's done is crushed them because they're getting delisted off exchanges now. So, okay, well, now that we kind of unpack that, I just wanted people to know.
You have a dog?
Do I have a dog?
Yeah.
I have 3.
Oh, good. Well, then you've got good use for that report that you printed out.
Okay, yeah. I don't have a bird though. I think it'd be better for bird droppings, but
you could use it to line a bird cage. Yeah.
Yeah. But I encourage Max because he's doing his DNA of Bitcoin podcast, where he's getting some very, very, highly, I mean, like the greatest thinkers of Bitcoin, in the world. He is actually getting to come on the show. He has Robert Breedlove coming on now, which will be pretty interesting. And I encouraged him to reach out to these 2 authors of this Fidelity report, and being able to just say, hey, look, I'm writing DNA of Bitcoin, the book. I want to get it right. I'm really intrigued by your paper, and I'd like to walk through it, because as I read through it, there were just a few issues in there that I guess the only way I could describe it is it kind of put a pebble in my shoe. And I would love it if you could help me reconcile.
This sounds like going to the elementary school for a pickup basketball game, man.
but it will look here. Fair's fair. These elementary school kids are the ones that are out, I'm
the best basketball player in the city. No one can beat
They're
me.
the ones that are speaking at these conferences, and they're the ones that everybody are paying attention to, and they're the influencers that are out there. So, that's why I wanted to title it Gloves Off. Epic Gloves Off with Max Freeman, because he was like, yeah, but we need them in the boat ultimately, so I don't want to destroy them and their arguments. And I'm like, you don't have to destroy them. You don't have to be right. All you have to do is get them to help you remove the pebble in your shoe and reconcile how something can be X when you believe it's Y, and put them on the defensive and let them actually, splain it. You got some splaining to do.
I'm very happy to leave that work to you guys, because I don't have any enthusiasm for it. For me, like the way I spend my time is just trying to get this thing better.
Yeah.
Right?
No, that's great.
Let's just build superior money.
Amen. Speaking of that, I want to share my screen here. And everybody, the purpose of this show, Crypto Coffee with Todd Lewis, is we started out just the quest for superior money. You just heard Todd say that when he wakes up, what motivates him is just to make Epic better as superior money. Now, if you've watched the show before, you know that we've gone through a process to where we've identified almost 30 different qualities of superior money. And every week we'd go through, for example, let's say borderless. We'd go through and check it. Yep. Epic's borderless. Bitcoin's borderless. Gold borderless. Federal Reserve notes, no. Digital credits, no. So that's just to give you an example of what we do. This is the last time you are going to see this. Why? Because after Max was on and we had some cussing and discussing, and I decided that the order of these things didn't make sense to me, because in my mind, I wanted to kind of put a more, importance to perhaps lower importance, or they should be grouped together. And so this is a work in process. You guys are seeing the sausage making, but I want to let you know what it looks like now. That's what it looks like now, to where what I'd like to do today, Todd, is not unpack like we normally do, but I want to share everyone the reason why I want to get this this right, meaning the answers right, is I want to get this document in circulation within the Epic community so that you guys, as we continue to go through the process, you can have it in your hand, and you'll have which you'll see that there's on the second and third page, there's definitions that go along with all of these, but I want to get to you the final answers. And so that's what we're going to ultimately go through, Todd, is I just want to go through these real quickly. Now, this is going to be, we don't have to debate each one. I just want you to, if there's anything here, Todd, that you think is a question mark, then we can discuss it. Okay. Otherwise, I want to just really work towards getting Spencer this as a final document so we can get it into the community, because I think this is going to be a fantastic tool for people to go through themselves. So means of payment, I have checks across the board. Would you agree with that, Todd?
Nope, I put X's in the first three. And the reason goes back to the Walmart discussion, and even like Shopify, you can't go to a random Shopify store and pay with Bitcoin or gold or Epic. And this is the incumbency advantage of the fiat currencies. It's just the existing infrastructure in the economy. But this is also the weak spot, right? This is the opportunity. Is as we improve the monetary function, we can start eating payments.
Okay, I'm going to play Max here. So you're saying that I pick my dog up today after we get off. I go pick him up from the groomer, and I will pay her in Epic cash. So I am using it as a means of payment. We're not talking about widely accepted means of payment. There are people
talking about widely, because you said perceived.
Well, the reason why perceived is at the bottom, I have restricted as well. And this is wrong. What I wanted to do is means of payment. We should come up with a middle of the ground instead of an X or a check, because I think with Federal Reserve digital credits down here, yeah, they're a means of payment, but they're going to dictate what you can use it for, or they're going to program.
They do.
And they do. So that's why this final one, I'm pushing back on you. I believe that these perceived are all means of payment because people are paying.
If you define it as being capable of used as a means of payment, then that's fine.
Okay, means of And I'm taking out medium of exchange and putting in means of payment because I think they're the same thing. An asset which is used to trade for products or services. So I'm going to keep those there.
The definition of money is the commodity which finds the greatest acceptance of trade value in the economy. You can view monetary transactions are a subset of barter transactions. They're a special category of barter.
Okay.
Because you're still bartering. You're giving me labor and I'm giving you these pieces of paper.
Mm-hmm.
It's just these pieces of paper find universal acceptance in the economy, and that's what defines them as a monetary good. And the whole thing that we're trying to do in the cryptocurrency mission, build a technical solution to the payment problem, to finalize the monetary revolution of the past 5,000 years and lift the entirety of humanity out of barter, right? And the last stage of that evolution will come with acceptance for payments. That's what comes at the end, right?
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Peer-to-peer, Epic, Bitcoin, gold, all of them. Peer-to-peer, except Federal Reserve digital credits, because you need a third party to be able to transact using them. That's going through a third party somewhere to keep track. Would you agree with those?
I struggle with this one, and here you're getting the idiot engineer answer. The gold and Federal Reserve notes are peer-to-peer and that there's no intermediary, but for both Epic and Bitcoin, the blockchain is in between, the same way that the Federal Reserve is in between for the digital credits. So
yeah, but I don't think that's what, I mean, if you think about Satoshi, his vision, I don't think when he mentions peer-to-peer in there that he was, he's talking about a third party. Blockchain is the technology.
And that's the thing that we need to clarify to make this right. Okay. If we consider that the blockchain is a distributed consensus mechanism with no individual in charge of it, and that it's neutral and doesn't discriminate, then yes, I believe you can call Epic and Bitcoin peer-to-peer, but you need to be really precise in why you say that, because the blockchain is in between. I think Epic's superior to Bitcoin, and that the data protection and cryptography in Epic gives you stronger assurances that the blockchain will remain neutral.
So what we'll do is, I notice we don't even have peer-to-peer as a definition. So what we will do before this is final published is I'm going to run every definition by you, and then you can tighten it up to what would make you feel good. How about that?
Great.
All right. Digital and divisible. I just combine those. So Epic, Bitcoin, digital and divisible, gold and Federal Reserve notes, no, and Federal Reserve digital credits, yes. Would you agree with those?
I think that's fair. You could make the argument that gold's divisible, but only at large scales. You know, you have to smelt it and recast it, and it's impractical.
Yep. Okay.
So I do think that's fair.
All right. Universally accessible. I want to capitalize that A. Epic, Bitcoin, gold, Federal Reserve notes, and digital credits has the only X. And I think we actually went through universally accessible. Did we? Let me see.
No, I think it's fine.
Okay, I just want to see where
I labeled it.
Maybe shit. All right. Next. I don't okay.
Well, the only concern I would have there is I might put a question mark on Bitcoin, because the same way that people can be blackballed from the Federal Reserve system, they increasingly can be blackballed from the Bitcoin system with tainted coins as well, which is, of course, the core issue that Mimblewimble is all about. Is your monetary commodity actually fungible or not?
I like that. I think that is a a really, really valid point.
And so that's my big concern there. The rest of them are fine.
Okay.
You know, anyone can buy gold. Pablo Escobar's house is filled with $100 bills, and anyone can buy Epic.
Okay, good. Borderless gave a check for Epic, Bitcoin, gold, Federal Reserve notes, and digital credits. I don't have as borderless.
I think we should have the same answer for gold and Federal Reserve notes.
You do. Okay.
And you could argue it either way. Max would say they're not borderless because they're restricted at the borders, and that's a fair enough point.
Mhm.
But also that they can be smuggled. They're more borderless than digital credits in the Federal Reserve System are.
Yeah, I think through this exercise, though, it's sitting down with someone that may have another asset to where you're just saying, let's go through this. And if we get too technical, like I like what you just said. So borderless gold, your gold can be stopped at the border. Same with your Federal Reserve.
Yeah, let's call both of those X's.
X's. I agree. I agree. That is a good change. I will make that happen. X. All right. Unit of account. Epic, Bitcoin, gold, all of them are a unit of account. Agreed?
I mean, in a trivial kind of way, yeah. I think unit of account is and is going to continue to be increasingly obsolete. And unit of account means a few different things. I mean, there's the strict unit of account in terms of what you keep your books in, but we've known for decades how to build inflation-resistant multi-currency accounting systems, and that's just technology now. A technology that's poised for a resurgence. In the 1970s, there was a lot of accounting research into how to build inflation-resistant multi-currency accounting systems. And then, interest rates went to the moon and it wasn't a big deal anymore. And those books started accumulating dust. And in the world's monetary libraries, there's a lot of this going on. Let's see what it says here. But we do know how to do that. So like which currency you keep your bookkeeping systems in is really not a big deal, right? I think what matters more on unit of account is in what currency are your contracts denominated, but then you start getting into means of payment, right?
But I don't think for this exercise that we can explore those crazy boundaries.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't go too deep down the monetary theory rabbit hole. I think it's fine to say that all of them can be used as units of account if you want to, and just leave it at that. Yeah,
because really this is, I look at this as for somebody that really is, because look, there are only 2% of the population that even are invested in cryptocurrencies. So there's a whole lot more other people out there. By the way, this upcoming Sunday is when Mike Mumola is going to be airing on, I don't know if it's Bloomberg or which, I'm going to find out for everybody, but it's going to be Sunday. So that's going to be really exciting. But really, this is something for somebody who just comes in and is trying to get their sea legs with cryptocurrency and recognizing why is cryptocurrency important, and to be able to stop them and say, really, this isn't about cryptocurrency being important. This is about superior money. And to be able to understand whether it's Bitcoin or Epic Cash as being a candidate for superior money, we really also need to compare it to something that you are familiar with, gold, Bitcoin. You may not be familiar with the Federal Reserve digital credits, but those actually came first. I've learned from you before the cash. So yeah, we won't go totally into the weeds. Private by default, Epic. Bitcoin, no. Gold, yes. Federal Reserve notes, no. and digital credits, no. Agreed?
Again, I think we should have the same answer for gold and Federal Reserve notes, and I would call them both yes. I mean, the issue is the serial numbers on the Federal Reserve notes, right?
Yeah, that's exactly the issue.
But that's only an issue when you're transacting it into and out of the banking system. As long as the notes are circulating, it is private.
Yeah, but we could do that if then statement all down the line here. To me, they created these things with serial numbers so that they can ultimately keep track of them. So
you are right, and you have changed my mind. It is okay to have a different answer for gold and Federal Reserve notes for that reason. Gold doesn't have serial numbers. So
right.
I think that's reasonable.
Okay, thank you. All right, decentralized, Epic, Bitcoin, gold, I believe. Fed Reserve notes, no, nor the credits. Agreed?
Yep. And that's what this is all about.
Absolutely. So fungible, Epic, Bitcoin, no, a big no. Gold, yes. Federal Reserve notes, no. And digital credits, no.
100%.
Beautiful. Surveillance resistance, Epic, yes. Bitcoin, laughably, no. Gold, yes. And Federal Reserve notes and digital credits, no.
I think that's all correct. I don't laugh at Bitcoin for their surveillance resistance, because they tried and they did approximately the best that could be done for the era that it was built in. Okay.
Yeah, granted.
So I don't laugh at them for that. It was a good engineering job. It's just time moves on.
Time moves on, but currently today, they are not surveillance resistant.
They're not.
And those who suggest otherwise, I would laugh at them. Politically resistant. Epic, yes. Bitcoin, no. Gold, no. Everything else, no. Would you agree there? I remember a day when they outlawed gold, my friend.
Well, and this is where, Max and I disagree, and here he has largely convinced me. I've come to the conclusion that he's right. You can make the abstruse argument for gold. You can hide it in the basement. You can smuggle it out in the lining of your luggage. Blah blah blah. But the fact remains that that governments have a long history of successfully controlling the movement of gold.
Yeah, and the fact is, even if one poor soul who maybe should have known otherwise that, hey, you can just bury your gold in your backyard as a little bit of treasure, but if they were just like so tuned into the mainstream news and they're like, hey, if big government tells me to, I need to take in my gold and be a good little boy, or I mean, you can say that about guns. You can say it's whatever they try to confiscate. So yeah, I think the answers there are good. Censorship resistant, Epic, yes. Bitcoin, no. Gold, yes. Cash, no. And digital credits, no.
100%.
Confiscation resistant, Epic, yes. Bitcoin, no. Gold, no. Federal Reserve notes, cash, no. And digital credits, absolutely not.
And it's the same thing where Max and I disagreed, and he convinced me that he was right and I was wrong. So
okay.
I'm in agreement with Max now on that one too.
All right. Scarce, Epic, yes. Bitcoin, man, I struggle giving them a yes, but let's do it for now and talk about it.
Why do you struggle with that?
Because I don't believe that 21 million is 21 million.
Why not?
Because the exchanges can, it's like a bank run.
I strongly disagree with you. I've heard this argument before, and I strongly disagree.
Okay, educate us.
Any asset can be multiplied on an exchange by lending and not backing. anything, absolutely anything. Beanie Babies, NFTs. It's happened plenty of times with gold. This is a classic failure case with gold, right?
Yeah.
If you're gonna knock Bitcoin with that,
Gotta
then
knock
what about when JP Morgan is charging people for storage fees on gold that they haven't had in their possession for 20 years?
Right.
Okay. That is not an attribute of the asset. That's just fraud. Or in the case of the sophisticated actors, fraud like technical non-fraud, because they write their contracts very carefully to give themselves the legal power to do these things, that if they were transparent about it and you had a true meeting of the minds with your customers because you were being transparent and honest with them, the customers would not agree to and do not match with what the customers think you are selling them.
Okay,
Right?
let me
A long history of that in the bullion banking business.
let me ask you this.
And is that a legitimate criticism of gold? I do not believe that's a legitimate criticism of gold. And I think we need to have the same cultural approach in Bitcoin that we developed over time in the gold community, which is, man, people will rip you off if you let them, you know? But that's not a problem with gold. It's a problem with you.
Well, I guess then now I'm coming to your side of the table here. If I was ready to put an X here, but if I did there's nothing to say. Let's just say all of a sudden Epic goes on a nice run and we're trading it over $100 and they start listing us on all of these exchanges where we're not doing pay to play, and they start doing the same thing to us, right? We can't stop. There's nothing on our blockchain that could stop.
There's nothing in the world that can be done to stop that.
Yeah.
Nothing can be done. It is not a problem with the asset.
Okay. I will keep that a check. Store of value.
And here, I mean, I think I feel motivated to go back and say, I think Bitcoin does great on scarcity.
Okay.
I mean, with that caveat that we're not talking about what the exchanges do and fractional reserve and lending and multiplication, right?
Yeah.
Just in terms of scarcity, and I want to give them credit here. Bitcoin was the inspiration for Epic. Epic copied the Bitcoin emission curve, and we pay homage to it because we deeply admire the commitment to monetary commodities having scarcity, right?
Okay, great.
And that's an important difference between us and some of the other people in the Mimblewimble space. Is not all of our fellow Mimblewimble enthusiasts share that commitment to monetary scarcity, and it's a real point of philosophical disagreement on what we do with Mimblewimble and why Epic is a special Mimblewimble coin.
Excellent. I think this is going to be one of my favorite live streams. Store of value. I give a yes to Epic, Bitcoin, gold. I give an X, a no to cash and digital credits due to inflation, printing, money printer go brrr, and digital credits. Come on, give me a break. They're smashing ones and zeros together, aren't they, Todd?
They are. And having lots more ones and zeros come out the far side.
You're right. So I got all of those right.
One's followed by lots of zeros. The question for me on store of value is, past performance does not necessarily indicate future results. What do we mean when we mean store of value? And this gets very philosophical and abstruse very fast, because is the question, was it a store of value in the past? Or is the question, we expect it to be a store of value in the future? And if the question is the expectation, then whose expectation?
Well,
I think the expectation, is it the market's expectation?
Yeah.
Is it some kind of like all-knowing hypothetical answer about the future? We can't see the future.
I would say no, but I would say originally when they created the Federal Reserve notes, it was backed by gold, which is a store of value. And so when they
change, these things change a lot over time, and this is the challenge of.
So I'm taking a snapshot today. We're in June 2022. and I'm saying that cash is not a store of value right now. So that could change tomorrow. They could back cash by Epic Cash, right?
It would kind of defeat the purpose, but they could. I'll give you the interpretation where I'm okay with this. Epic, Bitcoin, and gold all have good scarcity value, and they all have good monetary use cases. So I think saying that we have a reasonable expectation of them as store of value is fair. And the X's for Federal Reserve credits and notes, that one's easy.
Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah, that's easy.
All right, inflation resistant. I give thumbs up to Epic, Bitcoin, and gold, and a big no for cash and digital credits.
Well, and this is even easier for an Austrian economics purist like me. Inflation is always and everywhere a monetary phenomenon, and the question is simply the scarcity, right? Is the money supply going to increase or not? And for Epic and Bitcoin, the answer is a strong no. For gold, it's a weak no. And for Federal Reserve notes, it's a strong yes. So that one's 100%.
Perfect. Fair launch. I have Epic, yes. Bitcoin, yes. Gold, yes. I think God, fair launch gold. And then Federal Reserve notes, no. And digital credits, no.
Yeah, I mean, the only one that I might argue there is actually gold. The Mayans and the Spanish definitely got a jump on the gold business with the gold galleons and the silver doubloons and the pieces of eight.
But everyone else in the world, they just weren't up on their news. They didn't know that they could travel to those places and battle them for that land. It was fair.
Meet exciting, interesting people and kill them. Yeah.
All right, I think that would confuse the crap out of people if we put an X for
gold. Well, and the other thing too is that stuff is so far in the past now that it's not very relevant. Although actually most of the world's gold supply has been mined in the last 50 years.
Interesting.
But it doesn't matter because every year the marginal supply of new gold is very marginal.
Yeah.
It has a giant inventory and a small additional flow. So I think calling that a fair launch is fair.
All right. Publicly verifiable on a network. I give a yes to Epic, Bitcoin, gold, no, cash, no, and Federal Reserve digital credits. I took a shot at saying yes.
Yeah. I mean, the only question mark there might be Epic actually, because the question is, what are you verifying? There are some things that by design are not verifiable on the public network, right?
But can you verify on the network there are 21 million?
You can indirectly verify it if you believe that Mimblewimble is true. But it's much easier and more transparent to verify for Bitcoin.
Okay, so do I change that to an X? This is an interesting
I think it's fine. I just wanted to give a nod to the potential criticism to Epic there.
Okay. No, that's good.
And if people want to criticize us for that, I would actually welcome it. Like,
well, I was going to say,
no, we preserve fungibility. Boo hoo! Like, don't criticize me for that. Snicker, snicker.
No, I would, because just in my mindset, I'm like, check good, X bad. And so the if there was an X there, I mean, that's kind of a. I think that might be good in our case because
the real question is, what are you verifying? You cannot verify that someone owns a given number of Epic by examining the public network. That's the whole point.
Right.
Right.
What would Max say, do you think?
I don't know. But I think these answers are fine. I just wanted to give that explanation.
Okay. All right. Trustless. Epic, yes. Bitcoin, yes. Gold, yes. Cash, no. Digital credits, no.
The only question there would be Federal Reserve notes. I mean, are we talking about counterfeiting? That's a minor phenomenon with Federal Reserve notes, but they're pretty trustworthy. What kind of trust are we talking about?
It's a great question. Let's go and see if we defined it. Trustless. The native Epic blockchain allows for private peer-to-peer transactions without using a trusted third party. Predecessor privacy coins such as ZK Snarks required a trusted third-party privacy ritual, while traditional bank transactions required people to trust and even pay bankers to store and transfer wealth.
In that case, I have a change. I believe that under that definition, Federal Reserve notes are trustless.
Federal Reserve notes are trustless.
We should give the devil his due.
Where is trustless? So you would give them a check.
I would.
Why?
If I want to drive out here in Phoenix with $500 in my pocket and buy some illegal marijuana, I can.
Yeah, but what did that have to do with the origination of cash in the first place?
The origination doesn't matter. The question is, can you do transactions in it without needing to trust a third party and have them intermediate it?
Ah, okay. Okay. I see where you're going.
And so even though the federal government doesn't approve of my hypothetically buying marijuana with the $500 bills, it doesn't matter. They're not party to the transactions. They don't have the practical ability to do anything about it.
Okay. No, I like that. I like that. Permissionless. Epic, yes. Bitcoin, no. Gold, yes. Cash, no. Digital currency, no.
Same problem. I might give Federal Reserve notes a yes there.
Permissionless. Because
and
you
yes,
do not.
And yes, there's a surveillance. Yes, there's surveillance on the notes, but drug dealers are really good at money laundering.
Permissionless. But what about I want to go, I have 30 grand of melting money in my supposed bank account. And what if I want to go take out 12,000 bucks?
Ah, that's the transition from a digital credit to the note. That is not the pure use case of the note, my friend.
Okay. Will that go over people's heads?
I think we should focus first on getting the answers right.
Okay. So you think permissionless? Yeah,
because the use case is not transitioning from notes to credits or credits to notes. The use case is, can I go use $100 bills to do something the federal government disapproves of? And the answer in general and in widespread acceptance is yes.
Okay, that's great. All right, immutable. I have Epic Cash as yes, Bitcoin, yes, gold, yes, cash, yes, digital credits, no.
I think that's basically right. It's a slam dunk on the last three. Gold and Federal Reserve notes are certainly immutable. Federal Reserve digital credits can be reversed at a whim. Epic and Bitcoin are pretty irreversible, but we do have cases where like there's a bug and the community agrees to roll back the blockchain.
So once a transaction is done, it cannot be undone. The egg cannot be unscrambled. Rare exceptions exist, such as the range proof vulnerabilities of Bitcoin in 2010 and Mimblewimble coins in 2021, during which blockchain rollbacks were exceeded as to not catastrophically condemn the blockchains. Wow. So
they already anticipated my objections.
Yeah. So there is that that
asterisk.
Yeah. So we're going to keep those the same.
I think we keep the same, but it is, to be honest, it's important to acknowledge those.
Okay. That's good. Which we did. And ultimately we're going to get all the definitions right. And neutral. We have Epic, yes. Bitcoin, yes. Gold, yes. Federal Reserve notes and digital credits, yes.
This feels completely wrong to me.
Yeah. Why? I guess neutral. What are we talking about when we talk about neutral? Let me see if we have a definition here. If that made the list. It looks like it did not.
Politically, sexually, blah, 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 does not choose sides. And yeah, no, that's wrong. That is
Okay.
wrong.
All right. So I am happy to fall on my wrong sword. So let me go down here. Neutral. Talk to me. Educate me. What would you put here?
Epic, neutral. This is easy. Can Canadian honkers be censored using this channel? Epic, no. Bitcoin, yes. Gold, no. Federal Reserve notes, no. Federal Reserve digital credits, yes.
Okay, so do it the other way. Neutral, we give Epic a yes.
That's right.
Bitcoin, we give it a big giant no.
Correct.
Gold, we give it a yes.
Correct.
Federal Reserve notes, a yes.
Correct.
And digital credits would be a absolute no.
Correct.
Okay. Good changes. Thank you. And we need definition. Okay. All right. So survivable.
We're out of time, man.
What?
We're out of time.
Okay. So we're going to pick it up next week at multi-algo survivable. How about that? Does that work for you?
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah, everyone in the chat, thank you. Sorry we haven't been paying attention to you, but get used to it. We're Todds, you know.
I always read the comments after for what it's worth. So.
Good. So, all right, my man. Well, enjoy your. I believe you guys are gonna take your eggs out back and put them on the put them on your back porch and have breakfast
here, man. I'm headed inside. This is for the birds. I don't even know it's for them.
Just the stupid ones
like me.
The snowbirds. Yeah. All right, brother. Okay, everyone in the chat, thank you, love you, appreciate you. And by the way, everybody, tomorrow is going to be Epic Cash live at noon instead of Friday because I have to travel on Friday. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. This is the sausage making process, but I think we're all learning a lot just going through it. So we'll finish this up next week as well. And but man, I really appreciate you guys joining us. So for